You didn't write Game of Thrones.
I wrote the Game of Thrones.
You look just like George R. R. Martin, though.
Except way younger.
Way younger.
And way
And no suspenders.
no suspenders.
And that's a big one, as we all know. But that hat just screams George. As would you if you met him in person.
No, you don't scream his name. You'd get mad. You'd be like, leave me alone. I'm going back to Arizona. Or wherever he lives.
He lives in Arizona?
It's either Arizona or New Mexico. But he just lives out in the desert, and he has this like nice little compound out there.
That's surprising.
He goes to be secluded and not write the last 2 books.
Yeah, exactly. To not have inspiration. We have a few people watching right now. Hey, everybody.
No, we don't. No one's watching.
Welcome to The Walking David, where if you don't man up, we're going to have a hunt. I am your host, Jon Snow, and this is my beloved guest, Samuel Tarley. And
that was a fat joke, and I don't appreciate it.
It's not a fat joke. It's not a fat joke.
You get to be Sam.
You're supposed to be the Grand Maester.
I want to be Sam.
How else am I going to learn about my father?
Well, apparently you're not, because he didn't fucking. He didn't even let Gilly finish. Yeah, he didn't hear it. He didn't even let Gilly finish.
If Gilly reveals that shit to him, that is going to be the shittiest way that the show could ever tell.
Oh, it's going to happen. And she's gonna take like 10 minutes to say it because she's Gilly. I read in a book at that time at the place with the big tower, and me and little Sam had been staying there for several months, and this just rambles on for 10 minutes to get to the point. Everyone's just like in the scene, everyone's like listening very patiently, just like, and then we're all sitting on the couch going, "Get to the fucking point!"
Time to watch more. You and I have similar cuts on your arm. Hold up this arm. On the forearm.
It's not a cut.
No, like right there. On the other side, you have there are 2 sides of a forearm.
Okay, well, it's not a cut. Those are burns still.
I have a similar one though. Hold yours up. See?
Oh, this is weird. It's weird and gay.
It's not that weird. It's just we're relating about wounds and stuff. Like right now, it looks like I had gotten in a fight with a woodpecker. And it won.
That was a gay reference.
I got in a fight with a woodpecker and he shot at my face. Speaking of woodpeckers, Eastwatch.
Mm-hmm. By the sea.
By the sea. It's the 5th episode of season 7 of Game of Thrones, a show that you and I both love. And anytime Danny's on screen, Alec throws a fit.
I don't throw a fit. I have well-argued points about why I'm correct, you know?
Fair enough.
That's...
He throws a fit.
She has dragons.
Shit's a brick, if that sounds better. Shit's a brick.
She has dragons, and, you know, I have logic and proper storytelling.
Hey, Sam. Thanks for joining us. Sam Cartman. She says, hey, David. And I'm sorry I don't know what your friend's name is.
And don't tell him. Keep it a mystery.
Samuel Tarley.
Just keep it a mystery, and then it'll all come to fruition, you know, at the end of the show.
Who else has a red beard that you know of?
That'll be a big no, that'll be like the big reveal.
Oh.
Like at the end, when all this Game of Thrones is over and your YouTube channel like finally dies because you have out no more content.
Hey! Speaking of big reveals, did you know that dragons breathe fire?
Dragons breathe fire? No way!
That's crazy.
Who knew that dragons breathe fire?
You know, thanks to the website
Dragons.com.
Dragons.com.
Thanks to the research at the Dragon Institute of Omaha, Nebraska.
Thanks to my Wikipedia research.
I learned that dragons do in fact breathe fire.
Let's see. Oh, hi, Samuel. Rope Black Man. Yep, get used to saying that name. She has dragons. I have logic. Logic trumps dragons. And Trump trumps logic. We don't like him here. Anyways, so we start off the episode with what? Glad you asked. Bronn pulling Jaime up from the water. Now, the mysteriously deep and now is mysteriously shallow water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, I choose to think of it, it's like, you're like a pool, like a YMCA pool that's just too small. So it's like, well, we got to include the diving boards. So make the pool sharply decline at a fucking gigantic, like almost 90-degree angle about 5 feet out.
Yeah, sure.
And people will say, they don't make pools like that. And I would call them a liar because I've fucking seen it.
Yeah.
Where it was literally like, where the diving board section was, it goes like, it's like cement, straight down to like, 9 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happens if you jump too far? You're dead. You hit a corner.
You sink in your armor.
You hit a corner and you're dead.
Sam says, I actually really like this episode. Broke Black Man says, me too, Sam. Calm before the storm. But episode 2 sucked. I think we can all agree there.
Episode 2 was garbage.
Garbage.
It's almost as much garbage.
Episode 2 should join the Night's Watch. Because it's a disgrace to society.
I was gonna say episode 2 should join the Faceless Men.
Because it can be anybody else.
So it can be fucking pointless.
So it can fight Brienne.
So it can
later.
So it can lose to Arya in a dark room.
Hey, cut that candle head off. Anyway, so I predicted it right. You even said on like 4chan that people thought it was Dickon.
Yeah.
Who saved Jaime. Goes to show you, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, 4chan.
Fuck the internet. Fuck it.
Oh, shit. Oh, it's your wall.
Fuck the internet. That's what I say. That's the life lesson. Fuck it.
I can't even remember which one episode 2 was. Like, what happened in episode 2?
I don't even know.
I just was going along with what you said. Improv, folks. Yes, and. The season is turning out to be really nice. Just a shame, 3 episodes short.
What happened?
Loved episode 2. Yes, you go ahead and look that up. But anyways,
all right.
Bronn and Jaime resurface on shore away from the battle. So they have a discussion where basically Bronn kind of confesses to Jaime the truth about himself, where he goes like, listen, man, I am a sellsword, just like your brother didn't realize. He did the same thing with Tyrion when it came to fighting the Mountain. He goes, listen, yeah, you're friends, but, when it comes to something that big, our friendship ends. Because, like, what have you ever done for me? I do all this stuff for you. You never do this stuff for me.
You never do nothing for me.
Which is kind of a weird mentality to have as a sellsword. Because it's like, nobody ever does anything for you except pay you. That's like the exchange.
That's something you would say, David. Just you can't understand, the common plights of, the working man. Sorry, you would, and I'm just
saying, working man.
I'm just saying, some of us only have a sword to sell instead of, opulence, and we just have to live with it.
Oh, that's the one with the Grey Worm sex scene in it.
Oh, that's the memorable part.
It is memorable for how retarded of stuff that is.
The bumping of 2 mounds.
Seriously, it's like at this point, it makes just as much sense as saying Grey Worm's a Targaryen. It makes just as much sense to be, it's just as interesting of a plot line. If Grey Worm's, was taking care of her on patrol, and
oh, hold on, fuck that. The more interesting thing that happens, Hot Pie comes back.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's the more interesting thing. So
in a song of ice and fire, Hot Pie is searching and hungry for the food.
Hot Pie is Azor Ahai confirmed.
Hot Pie is Azor Ahai, bang,
confirmed. They even sound alike.
Before you know it, Kyle's fucking chickens and Azor Ahai are gonna be changing their names
to Hot Pie.
To Hot Pie,
or it'll be Hot Pie and that one fat kid.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to another YouTube episode of Another Fat Kid.
All right. We're doing good. Tom says games halftime, passing by to say hi and drop that juicy like. What? Woo.
Who's Tom? There's no Toms here.
Well, it's Tom himself.
No. No one's named Tom. No one has ever been named Tom. Ever.
That's true.
That's a myth. That's a myth they tell you when you go through college.
Hey, did you see that movie Sully?
Yeah.
Starring
Hanks. Starring Bob Hanks. Old Bobby Hanks. National treasure, that man.
Old Bobby Hanks. I actually like the hot pie and Arya scene because it makes Arya a normal person, not just a cold-blooded serial killer.
Except she is a cold-blooded serial killer who eats like John Benet Ramsey.
I was just like, here's the thing. I disagree with that. I think that particular scene does not make her seem like she's not a cold-blooded serial killer. It just makes her look like, oh, hey, Arya eats as well.
I like that Hot Pie just knows the name of like episodes.
Yeah, he just goes.
Didn't you watch the Battle of the Bastards, Arya? Your brother won.
My favorite part, Ari, was episode 64.
My favorite was when that horse hit that guy. Didn't you get caught up on season 5, Ari?
You know why? Let me ask you something. Before she left, how come he didn't make her another wolf pastry?
Because he fucking was he ain't made a goddamn money just handing out wolf
Every
pastries.
time she encounters Hot Pie, he's made her a wolf pastry.
Yeah, and
so what the fuck are you doing, Hot Pie?
And you know what? Has she given anything back? No, it was the one side. He's trying to get out of the fucking friend zone.
Listen,
that's really what it is.
Speaking of the friend zone,
Hot Pie is trying to leave.
Hot
Pie is trying to leave the friend zone.
Galishi. Bronn and Jamie, so they kind of have just an interesting discussion about where their friendship stands in regards to the dragons, and it also kind of makes it seem like Bronn at any given point might just switch to Dany's side, possibly, if it came to that. Because when Dany says, like, bend a knee or I'm going to set you on fire, Bronn's just going to be like, I'll fucking bend the knee. So.
Bronn and Daenerys shipping now. Get on
it.
I'm
shipping it.
Get on it, internet. Bronn and Daenerys shipping. Stat!
Plot twist, Bronn is actually Sir Bronn Blackfire of Blackwater.
Well, he is Sir Bronn of the Blackwater, which means he's a knight, which means he can marry Daenerys. I'm just saying, no one's shipping those two. Everyone's like, oh, when's Daenerys gonna marry Jon? Blah 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 blah. That's boring.
Okay.
That's the boring answer.
Well, sorry, really quick before I jump back to the actual episode. Broke Black Man says, hold on. Let me go back. Shit, I missed some of this stuff. Not a huge fan of White Walkers Beyond the Wall stuff, so I'm hoping the episode focuses somewhere or elsewhere as well. I like the new guy. Hey, there's one for you. I did, David, because she was heading to kill Cersei, but she changed her mind. If she was a cold-blooded killer, she would have said, fuck family. I'm to kill.
I am to kill.
I am to kill.
Well,
I'm like Cersei. I give less than 0 fucks about the Night King and anything else people's wet nurse warned them about.
Well,
What's up, Hannibal?
Black Man 94. You're wrong. But that's okay. Because Arya, she heads back home. But all she's really done since she's got back is kind of just be weird and confrontational.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with that. I don't know if it's someone like they're trying to be like, we see Arya only sometimes, and the other person is wearing Arya's face. I don't know.
They're wearing her face.
I think they just kind of ran out. They go, well, if Arya's not killing people and being an assassin, we kind of don't have shit for her to do. And so they are encountering storyline problems with her periodically.
But let's put a pin in that. Because that comes up this episode.
It does come up.
We're going to answer that.
It does. Okay, so we see Tyrion is walking through the ruins.
He's bummed.
Seeing all of his family or ex-military, an ex-family getting burned. And he thinks, he doesn't know that Jaime is alive at that point. But I guess he finds that out in the interim. Dany, of course, has the confrontation with Dickon and Randall Tarly, and the leftover Lannister men. And I guess, are any of those Tarly men?
Who knows?
Just kind of a random
They
assortment.
just make them all Lannisters now because
they sided with the Lannisters.
They're trying to save money on the costume department.
Just put a line on it.
I mean, let's be real here. This is why a wolf and a dragon are never in the same scene.
It's why in the whole episode everybody was just wearing dust. They just put them in something and we'll just cover it in a lot of dust. And people will be like, wasn't it supposed to be red? Put more dust on it. So, you know, Randall Tarley and Dick Ontari have an extremely unceremonious death where Danny just goes, you know, bend the knee or I'll burn you alive. And then Tyrion's just like, don't be an idiot. Bend the knee, you fuck.
I didn't know Daenerys was played by Eddie Redmayne now.
Honestly, she could be at this point. I don't think anybody would be upset. He looks more feminine.
So Tarly says, fuck off, I'm not bending the knee. And then Tyrion brings up a great point, which is, you know, you did just like change queens like on a dime. I don't know why this is a big deal to you. And then the story just doesn't answer that. And Randall's just like, burn me, bitch.
Yeah, well, also for Dickon, like, why the fuck? Like,
because Dickon's the hero we deserve, but not the one we need. That's why.
You fascist. So
she's like, Dracarys, and then it's like, burn, baby, burn, Disco Inferno.
Okay, so
burn this Charlie down, burn, baby, burn.
Jaime resurfaces in King's Landing.
He
goes straight to Cersei, and I thought he was going to keep the Tyrion. Like, oh, that's before it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two different scenes. Okay, so he goes up to Cersei and he basically explains to her, listen, these three dragons fucked everything up. And there's no way that we can basically beat them. Because look at what one did. And she could have, you know, killed way more. But, you know, she was sort of merciful. We have to find a way to get out of this war. And let's see what else happens there.
Well, and then she makes the announcement. It's kind of a weird thing.
Oh yeah, does that come before late Tyrion?
Who knows? That's an excellent question. Keep scrolling down, and then we'll find out. This is called research.
Oh yeah. Jaime explains to her what happened with Lady Olenna.
Yeah, he says Olenna killed Joffrey, and Cersei's like, "Who cares? I'm gonna kill everyone anyway." And I can respect that, you know? I can respect that that is, David, that's called following through on what you set out to do.
Listen, shut your mouth, because I'm not listening anyway. I've already made up my mind. Classic woman.
Classic woman!
Sorry. Let me read some of these. Let's see if
squares.
Cersei drinks while pregnant.
Of course she does.
Yeah, that's how you make it. That's how you make a Joffrey.
Okay, first off, who doesn't drink when they're pregnant? That's ridiculous.
I drink all the time when I'm pregnant.
Exactly.
She's the goddess of tits and wine. Analysis, what's going on, buddy? Or Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. He says, what's up?
Who's Sir Ulrich?
Let's see if Cersei still drinks like an Irishman, Mo Prego. Wait, two people said that? That's correct.
Exactly. Hold on. You're glossing over something important. Why is an analysis of Thrones there Ulrich von Liechtenstein?
Because in a Discord group, he's also known as Sir Ulrich.
Okay. You know, that's an interesting point, because in A Knight's Tale, one of the characters, whose name escapes me, the older gent, is the guy who plays Robert.
Is that why you did it?
Maybe.
That might be why he did it. Let's see.
We're
waiting on your word.
He's just going to claim he did it anyway to sound smarter.
Yeah.
I'm just going to assume he didn't. I'm going to assume I figured that out, and he is now just like, he's just like, thank God someone finally gave me a reason to make this make sense.
Hey guys, in the chat, we have yet to see episode 6, so if you watch the leaked episode, don't tell us about it, okay? This is a spoiler-free zone as far as that episode's concerned. But episode 5, spoil it away, because everybody's clearly fucking seen it.
See,
I made this way too late.
He says he did it because he likes the movie and liked the name. See, I told you, he didn't do it on purpose. He didn't even know. Here's another fun little trivia fact.
Oh.
That actor in the montage scene where Heath Ledger is training and learning to joust, that actor, the shield he's holding as a target for the guy to hit, has a stag on it. Boom. That's called winning.
I got it back.
That's called winning.
Go! Run back to Winterfell. Okay, oh yeah. Cersei's announcement. She is pregnant with a child named Jaime.
With a child named Bert.
You think she'll name her child Jaime, hypothetically, or Tywin, hypothetically?
I think she'll name it...
Or Ice Dragon.
I think she'll name it Cersei.
Cersei, second of its name.
Exactly.
So
we cut back to...
Cersei makes that... Is this where Cersei makes that claim? So she said, we fight and die, or we submit and die. I know my choice. A soldier should know his. And Jaime's like, dun, dun, dun.
Once again, Lena Headey, pretty much, filling in all the space of good actors in this show.
Yeah, she's pretty great. And they've done a nice job of kind of incorporating this Tywin-esque level of chess, gamesmanship. I was going to say, playing like a game of chess. But
4D chess.
Let's see.
4D chess.
I knew he was great in that movie. The Babies. I didn't know the stag part. Great catch. He's full of those.
I am a great catch.
Tyler Lannister. Well, that would be a shit name.
Tyler Lannister.
Who named you
some shithead?
Some shithead on a live stream? I'm just kidding. Love you, Hannibal.
She'll name it Sansa Jr. Why would you name anything after Sansa?
Yeah, even Sansa shouldn't name anything. I don't know where I was going with that. It just kind of died in my head.
What's Sansa going to name her baby?
Well, speaking of nobody cares.
That's my thought. Are we even going to bring, are they ever going to bring that up? That, is Sansa have a baby?
Okay, by this point she would... No, she just has a really, I think Ramsay basically gave her what we would consider endometriosis.
Well, I was just going to go with Ramsay.
If you're a woman, look that up and you'll understand what I mean. It's a nice way of saying what we're all thinking.
I was just going to say Ramsay pulled out. It was like, no baby for you because I'm evil.
Pulled out what? Hashtag.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
So, cut to Jon is standing on a cliff and
brooding on a cliff.
Yeah. He looks far better brooding than you are. But Dany lands with her dragon. He sees her flying in from a distance. She lands. She walks up to him, and then Jon inexplicably kind of takes off his glove and starts
he manhandles the dragon.
Yeah, he pets its face. Now, people always say that, at least in these chat rooms and forums, that the reason is because dragons, when they can sense people with Targaryen blood, true Targaryen blood, that they are kinder to them. And that's probably what they're getting at. They've been laying on thick this Targaryen imagery.
Yeah. Which, it's kind of silly to cite the book, because in the books, when they talk about the history, the Targaryens killed each other with their dragons. That's a definitive thing. It's they would feed other members of their family to dragons. So
interesting.
Yeah, I know.
I still think one of my theories was that Varys is a Targaryen. Now, the only reason I think that there's some importance in that is I thought that he would just keep siding with whoever until the War of Attrition took place, and if he was the only person left, then he would have some sort of claim.
Then he would be the king of Westeros.
But you never know. That could just be way the fuck out there, but it's fun to think about. Yeah, the fact that Dany calls these dragons her children, I'm with Jorah on this one. They are dragons, Khaleesi. They are not your children. You do not feed them at your breast.
And she's like, they're my children.
What are you hashtagging away?
I'm not doing anything. Mind your own fucking business.
There's a good theory of Varys being a Blackfire, which would, I guess, be the bastard line of Targaryens.
Yep. Daemon Blackfire.
Yep. Which is actually a really good channel on YouTube. I'm giving a plug to a guy. He's got like 80,000 subs. You should be giving me a plug. Daemon Blackfire, where are you at, bro? You're not.
Where you at, bro?
You're not, tweeting about The Walking David. Nobody ever is. How come when I walk into parties, everybody gets really quiet all of a sudden? So, oh, Alec, fuck you.
What? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, and you can't prove it.
So,
I don't know who this Alec Browncast guy is, but that's a fucking smart. That's a smart, tack in the drawer right there.
Broke black man. The only reason it's harder to plug you is because people feel racist if they do.
Or
it feels like we're like giving handouts,
Yeah, I mean,
it just seems worse. It's sort of like if I had a channel called like Cracker Ass or something like that.
Welcome back to the Game of Thrones out, and that was just by Cracker Ass.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Hey, everybody, subscribe to Broke Black Man.
Says
he's got more subscribers than me, I'm sure.
We got some MVPs in here.
I think everybody in this chat has more subscribers than me, you fucks.
It's not the subscriber count that matters. It's how you use it.
Speaking of how you use it, Jorah Mormont shows up.
Yep. Jorah Cuckmont.
Jorah
once again to be cucked, thoroughly cucked by every other man in the show. He will arrive.
I will return, Khaleesi. By the way, Khaleesi. Only a fool would challenge a Dothraki in an open battle. Where's your Dothraki sword?
In the garbage. I don't know.
You threw it.
I threw it. No, that's not even a Dothraki sword.
Oh, it's got a curved blade.
It doesn't.
Meant for cuck.
That's just disgusting weed garbage. That's what that is.
So Jorah shows back up, and he literally shows up. It's very unceremonious, and he also fuck with the teleporting. I can't. I've talked to Alec and his brother Kyle about this. I wish Kyle was here to comment on it because sometimes he used to bitch about that as well. But the teleporting that goes on in these episodes, it's like, what the fuck is even the point? This is like a classic case of Batman v Superman geography, where it's like Metropolis and Gotham are across the pond.
For no reason.
They just are because
it's amazing. We never noticed this before.
I never realized that Westeros was really just like a nice jaunt.
Yeah.
From place to place.
Just a good jog, and you're all the way across.
It also, not that we need this, and I know it's bullshit filler, but some kind of understanding of how long time has passed. For example, if a character teleports like that, that's fine. Have everybody's hair get longer. Have people's beards get fuller to where it looks like everybody experienced the same amount of time jump as this one fucking guy.
Yeah, but then Daenerys' hair couldn't look perfect after every scene of
Not
everything.
Once have we seen Varys shave his head.
No. His hair just doesn't grow. That's what happens when you lose.
Not
you lose your dick.
Once.
Your hair don't grow no more.
Yeah, Theon, we are never going to see him get a haircut again.
Yeah, because he knows, like, if I cut my hair, it won't grow back. They're talking about the pigeon theory, which is wrong. But, it's okay to dream.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't.
Toraj T, someone said that Ned warged into the pigeons right before beheading, which is why he looked up so prophetic. Is this true?
Yeah. No, it's not.
It's not, but I know
it's a fun thought experiment.
It's a fun thought experiment, exactly, because when you think about all the Starks being wargs of some kind of nature,
yeah,
especially in the earlier seasons, that seemed to be the thing that they were going for. Like Arya's packing up her clothes, her direwolf Nymeria's helping her. Jon he's the run to the litter and the lone wolf, and he gets the white wolf, the standout.
The whole point with the warging thing, which I'm going to go on the book. So the reason I'm going to use the book as a source is because the first 2 seasons are exactly like the book.
Yeah.
And George R.R. Martin, like, fuck off. He wrote it a very specific way.
What about the antivirus thing that he wrote?
The antivirus thing?
He said George R.R. Morton. I was thinking Morton. You're right.
Yeah.
Norton antivirus.
So essentially, all the four, not counting Jon, but Jon technically counts, all the Stark children are wargs. And it's even hinted that Ned and his brothers could do it too. But the whole thing is, it's like the Starks are one of the most direct lines to the First Men. So the kind of implication here is that the First Men are like, so like the Targaryens are like the magic, the Valyrians. The Targaryens come from the line of Valyria. So the whole thing is like on the east side of the world, the Valyrians are the magic people. And on the west side of the world, the First Men are the magic people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the parallel there. It's like the Targaryens can get the dragons and shit because their blood is magical, and the Starks can do all the warging and all that stuff because the wildlings are very similar to the Starks in their lineage. And so that's why you meet wildlings that can do it.
Now, really quick question from a kind of a dumb perspective. Now, were giants part of the First Men?
See, this is one of the big things is no one knows about the giants. It's a big what if thing. So the giants we see that attack the wall, in the book it's established that those are not the giants of legend. That the giants of legends are bigger, meaner, and like arguably like more like magical, less like, you know, just tall dudes. And that's the whole thing is like, so the giants we see are all just like half-breed kind of runtish things.
Interesting.
And that's kind of, and so that, I mean, it's all a big question of where all this magic comes from in Westeros, like with the First Men and the children and the giants. And George R.R. Martin purposely leaves it like out because it's not important to the story, but it's still really, it's still like a good thing to think about. It makes it more rich.
Yeah, it does make it richer, and I like that. The history and the lore of it is surprisingly enthralling, at least for me, because as I told Alec, I mean, what was it? When did I get into it? A couple years ago, got into the Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
you gave me like the first 5 seasons, and I was really late to it because I was in the middle of watching The Walking Dead, and I said, I'm worried about watching it, not because I don't think I'll like it, but because it'll make you change your mindset away from what the Walking Dead mindset is.
Yeah.
And it did. Like, honestly, it did kind of change my view, and I started looking at it like, well, I guess Game of Thrones actually is written, like, way better.
Yeah. Well, and see, and this is to quickly cap off the Eddard pigeon thing, why it's wrong.
Sure.
So with George R.R. Martin's writing style and the whole purpose of Game of Thrones is all about like the brutality of feudalism and how like feudalism is like this super fucked up system. And when he kills characters, he specifically kills characters you like to like hammer in like how dismal this world is and how like things like, you know, rival family conflict and war and diplomacy of houses, how they affect everybody, how they're really arbitrary and fucked up. And like, I mean, another big thing that they gloss over in the show is like how fucked all the small folk are. Like those people are kind of super duper. I mean, they kind of got to it last episode with the Hound, seeing that dead father and kid,
which was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that was not only crucial to his character, but he was right. He literally said like, they're weak. They can't defend themselves. They'll be dead come winter.
Yeah.
And then of course he sees.
It's kind of like, did he kill them or would they have died anyway? It's a great
and that's a big moral quandary that he faces. And plus, he's already on I think the whole point is that he's supposed to he's being reminded of these burdens.
Yeah.
That as he gets closer to these places.
Yeah. Essentially, what they're trying to do with the Hound this season is or the last episode especially, is they're trying to This is the thing in the books is there is an island where a bunch of guys like knights and soldiers that have fought in a bunch of these wars since Robert's Rebellion have come to take like a vow of silence and like repent. And there's a character there called the Gravedigger, and it's obviously the Hound.
Yeah.
So they're trying to kind of give him that little bit of the Gravedigger message, because the whole thing is like in the book, they see the Gravedigger, and then that's the end of it. Because the whole point of it is that the Hound is digging graves of all these bodies that wash ashore from all these people and war battles and shit.
And it's like a penance.
Yeah, it's his penance because he's like finally burying all the dead he's left across Westeros.
Oh yeah.
See, and so that's what they're kind of trying to do this like with that last episode.
Yeah. Let me really quick. Let's read some of this chat here. Word the last second. Okay, we already dismissed that. Let me see. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Marco. Sorry, I didn't read these at the time. Is it possible that Gendry would fall for Sansa, worsening the situation she has with Arya? We know Gendry likes fancy/beautiful women, as he showed in bed with Melisandre and Dragonstone. Could it be so? I've got to say, I honestly couldn't care less if that is.
I think he's a goner. I think he's a goner.
I don't think he's a goner. I think the only reason to bring that guy back, if you're just going to kill him off in this coming up episode, that's retarded. I think he's at least going to make it to season 8. He will probably die, but I don't think he's going to be gone this season at least. It's too far in to bring him up and have him killed off.
They spent too much money on getting that hammer prop, you know? The budget's tight there at Game of Thrones.
Well, I hope they make that hammer prop look better than it did.
It's gonna be awful.
It needed to be like a foot shorter on the hilt, like the handle, and it needed to be more square on the head.
Yeah. Now actually the other day I looked this up. I remember seeing a picture. And actually the hammer he has, there's actually a reason why it looks like that, is apparently, and I haven't researched this thoroughly because I have other things to do. But that hammer design was supposed to be originally what Robert's hammer was going to look like.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. But I don't know. To me, it looks like a blimp.
Well, I mean, there's the reason why they didn't go with it, as Robert's hammer, and they went with the much cooler one that looks like a meat tenderizer.
Yeah, exactly. I like the meat tenderizer with the spike on the other side.
Exactly.
That's the cool thing. Okay. I already accepted the timeline shit when they announced they were going to wrap this up in 13 episodes. There's no fucking way. At least they got 4 or 5 seasons to go. What?
No, they have 1.5 seasons to go.
I think he means episodes, maybe. Oh. Yeah, the history and lore is the best part of the story. But I like, Taraj T says, but I liked how expensive the continents were and how long it took people to travel. It was like Lord of the Rings. Now with teleporting, that element of awe is fully ruined. And at the same time, the Night King is super slow beyond imagination. He's still where he touched Bran. They had no choice with teleporting. Yes, they did. Septon Maribald. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The most chill marching army ever. Yeah, exactly. They're just thinking about it.
They're just strutting. They're just like...
They bring the storm. Bring the storm.
It's like an entire army of backup dancers.
Yeah. They want it that way. If they did it 10 by 7 and 8, what? They'd be able to do travel times.
I don't know what that math is.
Yeah, I don't know.
That math is...
Bionic souls. Tell us again what you mean. Marco, I can see the Night King pull out a map and said, these fucking blizzards, man. Where's the South again?
Now they're all... I'm now officially in my head, they're all dancing. And so... They all cut it out when Bran was flying over because they're like, we're not going to let him steal our sick moves.
Was that their hammer time? Anyways.
That's this episode.
Yeah. No pun intended, but very much so. Warhammer time. Amanda, yeah, I wouldn't mind them slowing down and giving us more episodes. Who do you guys want to die?
That's not gonna
And one of the greatest heroic / ancient stories of the world from the Middle East, it is a blacksmith who reunites people and makes a revolution. At the same time, that story has heroes like Jon. Okay. All right. Well, we read the chat.
Yep.
Now we're going to get back into the middle of this episode. Jorah shows up, reunites with Dany. She has her first kind of sincere, intimate moment. It doesn't really make sense how fast he gets there, but whatever. He is back to serve Khaleesi.
And then Bran spies on the Night King like a rude shit.
You know what's weird is that he sends ravens to spy on them, and then he goes, "Ravens, we need ravens." I'm like, you just sent the fucking ravens. Bring them back. You bring back the ravens, you fucking warg.
Bran has just like mild autism now. You know, you can't listen.
I'm not Brandon, really. I remember what it was like being Brandon Stark, but I'm no longer Stark. I'm the Raven.
So then Samuel, all the maesters are talking, and they're like, "Who cares about this Bran and his call for armies to come north? He's just a stupid kid." And
the Krakens and Warbles and Weedles.
And Sam's like, "I know, Bran, and I think he's telling the truth." And everyone's like, "All right, Sam, get out."
He kind of has his moment like he did when Gilly came to the Night's Watch, and he goes like, "Oh, will you open the fucking gate?" You know, like, it's kind of like, "Will you listen to me about the Night King?"
Yep. And then Sam leaves, and they're like, "Did you tell him that his dad's dead?" And the guy's like, "No, I didn't have the heart."
Yeah. He was like, "Gilly, get the courage.
We're leaving school.
Get heart Spain."
And then fucking Schools Out started playing. Schools
like
out
Westworld style. Like
no, just the song. Just completely breaking immersion. Schools out for Samuel.
There you go. You saved it.
Did I?
He thinks the Grand Maester thinks that the message could be fake, but it might be true. He does promise to ask Winterfell for clarification. Sam leaves in a huff, and we find out he hasn't been told about his father or brother being roasted alive yet. But like we've already seen, there's not a lot of love lost there.
No.
And
he already got the family sword, so he's won.
Yeah, it's like, but he hasn't even seen them. It's like when you join the Night's Watch, you're knowingly saying goodbye to your family pretty much forever. They don't even allow them to visit. So the fact that Sam has even gotten to see his family at all and leave with his head, it's like, it's fine. I'm fine with it.
So then we have Tyrion and Varys kind of bemoaning that Daenerys sets people on fire and there's very little repercussion.
Yeah, do you think...
Thank you, plot!
Yeah, thanks, plot.
Thanks, plot.
That was a cute scene or funny scene.
It's a funny scene. It's a point. It's once again, see, one of the biggest issues with the last 2 episodes of this season is they keep bringing up questions that they like. It's like they bring up a question and then the plot of the show goes, "Isn't that neat?" and it just ignores it.
It's like, it's a lot of dropped theories and shit like that.
Because it's like this one, they're literally talking about like, hey, don't you think it's going to make things like really hard if Daenerys just burns people the fuck alive? And then it's Varys like, oh, that's interesting. And then they just like never...
I wouldn't know being a black fire.
Well, it's like you've got to make her listen. It's like, oh yeah, he's got to make her listen? Because that's going really well.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of exhausting sometimes thinking about it. Jon sticks up for himself when talking to Dany, saying, listen, I had no idea that Bran and Arya were alive. I need to get back home.
Because Dany, I'm going home.
It seems like Jon is extremely conflicted as to what things to address first, because he says, I need to go home. And then in previous things, he's like, well, we need to use the men that we have to fight the White Walkers. And then he just goes off later on with the Dream Team.
The Dream
But we'll get to that in a second. They are clearly doing the relationship building between Dany and Jon, although I don't know. I think the show might just kind of throw the aunt and nephew thing out the fucking window.
Yeah.
That, or it's going to be brought up like right before they do it. It'd be like, wait a minute, you're my aunt, aren't you? And I'm the rightful king of Westeros. Like, it's going to be in a scroll. Like,
wait a minute, you're my aunt. Whoa,
I saw the family resemblance. Whoa.
It's like a Marty McFly moment where he's like almost like bangs his mom, and he's like, "Whoa,
My mom touched my leg.
That's how the movie went. My mom touched my leg.
Touched my leg."
Marty McFly.
If you like this review so far, please give us a like. Give us a big old thumbs up.
If you don't like this review so far, give us a like to prove us how much you hate us. Be ironic that way.
It's all that we want. I mean, we don't have anything else.
No, be ironic and give us a like. I give you a like because you suck so bad.
Jorah demands to serve Khaleesi.
Yeah, so he leaves again with Jon. He's like, I'm gonna go with Jon because I need to be a part of the dream team, Khaleesi.
And Tyrion gives him a nostalgia coin.
Yep.
Back to Winterfell.
I just think Jorah's trying everything to get out of the fucking cuck zone. He's like, if I do this, will you finally touch me?
She's playing him like Euron kind of thing, like you shall get what your heart desires, and he gets an arrow in the heart.
I think it's more desperate than that. I think it's just like, if I bring back a white, will you touch my hand?
My new red one, my red hand, please.
My red hand has.
Nobody's touched my hand.
I got brand new skin, and I wanted to touch you. Ugh. You can't have children, so how would you like to touch baby new skin?
Honestly, I'm really thinking that they're gonna have him do like I have the strong arm to fight the. Why not? It'd at least be interesting.
Where is Theon and Miss Sunday? Who is Miss Sunday? Who the fuck is Miss Sunday?
Oh, maybe he meant last Sunday, and it auto-corrected.
Where the fuck is Theon? That is an excellent question. Theon, well, he shows up.
Yeah.
He shows up this episode, and then Jon's like, I want to kill you, but I don't.
Is that really is that not 2 episodes ago?
No, that's this episode. It's like it's like 10 seconds, I think. Or it was last episode. Either way, it's like a 10-second fucking thing.
Yeah, well, basically, he's like, yeah, I want to go get Yara back, and everyone's like, more important things. So, back in Winterfell, we see Sansa and Arya.
Miss Sunday is Dany's translator. Who cares about fucking Missandei?
Missandei.
I get it. Ha, that's funny. Who gives a fuck about Missandei?
I
mean, don't get me wrong. That actress is fucking drop dead gorgeous, but in the show, her character's pointless. God, she's hot.
Yeah, but, it's wasted on a nub. Okay,
wasted on a nub.
Yeah, and this face on top of a cliff going.
We were easily fooled.
Too bad we can't read on patrol.
Just gotta work the eyebrows. Just work the face. Just.
You know what? He's a step from Breaking Bad fans. He's a step from Uncle the T.O. who rings a bell.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, if you ever.
Because I don't give a fuck about Breaking Bad. More like Breaking. I don't watch it.
Shut up.
All right.
They're gonna condemn you for that.
All right. Okay. So can I sum up the entire fucking Arya Sansa thing?
Please go ahead.
It essentially is. Arya walks in and goes, "Why are you in our parents' bedroom?" And Sansa goes, "Because I'm fucking in charge and I'm like a goddamn adult." And Arya's like, "Oh, well, I think you're a pretentious bitch." And then Sansa says, "Fuck off." And then Littlefinger just pretty much tricks Arya, like, because they finally gave him something to do.
Yeah, well, and everybody's thinking that he's gonna get one last.
Well, that's all I want is before they kill him off, because they're gonna kill him off. Let's just get one last good Littlefinger thing. The man's been puttering around the castle for months.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn.
It has kind of been a little bit tedious.
Like,
and I want him to have a cool death. I mean, or at least maybe you feel sorry for him, or maybe you are just like, fuck yeah, like at your screen, like, yeah, fucking take that. Like he gets stabbed through the mouth, like he's like, no more whispers, like Varys does it, something cool to where it. I mean, this guy's been around since fucking episode 1, so
hopefully he kills Bran. That's actually like what Alec wants to happen is I want it to be he gave Bran the knife, Bran refused the knife, and because Bran refused the knife, he kills Bran. Because Bran can see everything, and he's like, fuck that. And then Littlefinger. No, you know, it'd be great. See, this is the kind of thing I do want with the end of Game of Thrones. They're not going to do any of it because D&D are not near that creative or like want to commit to that. But I want some of the plot things to actually just be unsolved. Like I want Littlefinger to like kill Bran and then leave Winterfell and get away with it. Just like straight up, just be like, yeah, I got away with it, and I'm gonna still be out there in this new kingdom because I'm fucking Littlefinger.
And Varys will be like, I fetched him a ride to Pentos.
Yeah, just like stuff like that, where it's like Littlefinger just doesn't ever have to pay for his crimes. I want that because that's a great. Honestly, that's actually more close to what like George R. R. Martin would do. It's like make a character, yeah, like bad guy, like. The bad guy that's not going to, you know, he's not going to take over the world, and he was never going to, you know. But if he, you know, kills Bran and then just gets away with it, that'd be fucking rad.
Well, that or I have a feeling someone might pardon him to where they're going to go like, listen, I know you've been fucking around, but how about you just start with a clean slate?
Yeah.
You're not going to get the Iron Throne, so you get to be Lord of the Riverlands or the King of the Vale or whatever you're going to be.
Or even better. There's that whole thing in the books. It's heavily implied that one of Littlefinger's fail-safes to not be killed is that he has all this money, like divested, and if he dies, all his agents will just disappear into the wind with it, bankrupting the kingdom instantly. It's that kind of shit.
That would be really cool.
That kind of shit. All right, let's continue on.
Yeah. Okay. So, in order for Tyrion to he tries to say that, listen, maybe Jaime will listen to me, and the only way for me to get in touch with Jaime is through Bronn. Davos, being the smuggler that he is, offers to smuggle Tyrion in, and obviously with the counter or the alternative goal of finding Gendry, or seeing if he can find Gendry.
Yeah.
And they successfully smuggle Tyrion in. They kind of like smash cut to him meeting with Jaime, and Bronn just going like, I'll leave you to it. And then he just kind of leaves. They do have the scenes with Peter Dinklage and Nikolai Coster-Waldau, or Tyrion and Jaime, are amazing. Like I love those scenes because there's so much history there, and they did a very good job of establishing that they actually like care for one another.
But also are pissed.
But are very pissed, and they're very good at conveying that to where like Tyrion, didn't you think at one point like their faces kind of scream out like they want to give each other a hug, but they just know that they can't out of the principle of thing. And you know, and Jaime's, you know, he's caught between being kind of a gentle guy and then being his father's son.
Yeah.
And Tyrion's caught between the opposite, being, you know, hated by his father and being the reason that his father is dead, and trying to be this hand of a queen who is arguably slowly becoming a mad queen. Like, you know, and it's a weird predicament.
At the very least, it's like she's like completely ignoring him because of the upsets, and she's just like instantly turned on him.
And see, here's the thing. I think honestly they might relate over that, because Jaime, that was a big part of his storyline when he killed the Mad King, was that, oh, what if Tyrion killed Dany?
Once again, that'd be great. They're not going to do it in 1,000 years, but it'd be fucking great.
That would be not like even, fan fiction.
Not even because I hate like Daenerys, just because like it'd be an interesting way to end the show.
Well, and to see Tyrion of all people do it, someone who's not, you know, big in physical stature, who has a similar thought to what Jaime did, because he sees Aerys Targaryen burning people, and he's screaming, burn them all, and stuff like that. Tyrion's fear right now is that she's going to be just like him, and Tyrion is kind of in the similar position where he's her closest confidant, and now she even has suspicions that he might be turning sides, which is exactly what Aerys Targaryen did with Jaime, going, I can't even trust you. And that's what made Jaime kind of end up having to do what he did, is because he became so paranoid. His closest advisors, he started killing his closest advisors.
Yeah.
Like anyone like a Varys type of character, he would just off them.
Yeah, except for Varys.
I don't know why you're the only one commenting now. Everybody, you comment.
Everyone's entranced by our discussion.
They might be genuinely curious.
So, Davos goes and picks up Gendry for no reason.
And Gendry just goes,
I already have a hammer.
I'm ready to go. I don't use swords, I use hammers. Why? Because I also have been sitting and watching the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Even
though, a warhammer would be extremely difficult to,
I will say
afford.
this. The one time we saw him use a smaller hammer, like a mason's hammer, was when he was with, was it Yoren?
Yeah.
And Yoren's just like, I hate crossbows, take too long to load. And you see Gendry, and he's like whipping a fucking hammer like this. And he's going like Thor, and he's killing people with it.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember that scene. Well.
I swear, if you go back and you see it, they intentionally tried to make him look like he was an expert with a hammer, but he never once picked up a sword. And I was like, and I even told Alec and Kyle, I was going, I really hope that if we ever see him again, he was going to have long hair, be black bearded, and look like Robert, and have a warhammer and wield a warhammer.
Yep, he looks like Christian Bale.
He does look like Christian Bale.
Looks like Christian Bale. Also, to Turig test over there on the chat, Gendry does not know how to make Valyrian steel weapons. Actually, book Gendry knows how to reforge Valyrian steel.
Maybe he'll discover how to do it.
It's because the whole thing is what it is that in the book, his master is the guy who reforges Ned's sword.
Mm-hmm.
In the show, it's just some rando. Gendry doesn't know. Also, he wouldn't have Valyrian steel, but that's beside the point. Yeah, so
Dragonglass sword. Tyrion and Jaime meet. They kind of discuss. He explains to Jaime that you can't really win. You saw what happened.
Yeah, and we'll get a White Walker to prove to Cersei that there's something worse out there, which will give her an excuse to stop fighting and give Daenerys this excuse to stop fighting, and then we can all deal with that.
Yeah. They do, like you said, Davos does acquire a Gendry. Gendry comes with him. The two guards are there. Basically, Davos, we see the suave smuggler personality come out because we've heard about it so much, and he does a great job. It was great callback to what his character had already said, how he was a good smuggler in the past. Even hear him say still 5 golden stags or something like that.
Yeah.
And they go 15 each. Man, you haven't been smuggling in a while, which he hasn't. Then you see Gendry kills the guys with the warhammer.
Yeah.
So you get to see him use it.
Yeah.
We
actually, this is where after this, Jaime tells Cersei that he talked to Tyrion,
and she let it happen.
And that's when, and then that's where she announces she's going to have the baby. We were off, but
she also tries to hint that Bronn, he might be waning a bit because she goes, he betrayed you because he set up a meeting without your knowledge.
Yeah.
And that wasn't an accident. That was a very almost little finger thing to do, like half brother, kind of a passive thing.
And it's also that she knows that it's going down. So.
Oh yeah, that could be something. Some Broke Black Man says maybe Sam took a scroll telling how to forge the Valyrian steel.
Yeah, but the problem there is then they have to get Valyrian steel and they don't have enough.
Well, yeah, no, I don't know. I really don't know. But Dragonglass, if they could make it into swords or something.
Dragonglass would suck as a sword.
Maybe.
No, Obsidian's super brittle if you hit it from any, if it gets impacts, it snaps like glass.
Then how did he kill White Walker?
It's unbelievably sharp. You stab.
So that's why it's always spears or knives.
Yep. You can't use this sword if you miss and hit the ground, it shatters.
Well, who knows? They could always take that dagger that Bran has and I just had a complete stutter. Meld it onto the back of a warhammer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and use it as the hammer spike.
Yeah.
There you go.
That'd be cool. That'd be neat.
So then Gendry meets Jon. Gendry's like, I'm the son of Robert. And Jon's like, that's kind of cool, brah.
Yeah, that's kind of neat, bro. Jorah and Jon go off to, assemble the A-team.
At where?
Eastwatch by the sea.
That's why the episode's called that.
Sorry. That's a very Family Guy moment. It's like, look how many kids I have. We see Sam and Gilly in Old Town. Sam's bitching about stuff, and he's not even paying attention to Gilly, revealing that Rhaegar Targaryen and Elia Martell had an annulment, and Rhaegar got married to somebody in a secret ceremony in Dorne. And we all know
he also
who
got
that's.
annulled secretly too, I guess, because
Yeah, that's what they said. It's secret.
the Dornish would be awfully fucking pissed.
Yeah. Elia Martell. Well, except they're all fucking dead. Now it's just
Because of the sand snakes.
Yeah, now they're all just banging and drinking Dornish wine.
Thanks, D&D. Thanks for killing off interesting characters for stupid ones.
I did hate that Sam didn't hear it. That just bothered me. I don't know why, but I was kind of like, I wanted Sam to be like 17,082 shits, and then be like, wait, what? Like, like in response, just something to where it could be a little funny.
Nope, that was just a nod for the audience.
Ooh, things we may not address.
Yep. And then Arya spies on Littlefinger and gets played.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense now that I see the freeze frame of it. Arya, and Littlefinger do the whole cat and mouse kind of game for the scroll, and this is the scroll that Sansa signed when Cersei told her that remember Cersei told her to send a note in the first season.
Yeah, to tell Robb to stop fighting.
Yeah, and so basically it makes her allegiance seem a little like it waned.
Why? I don't that's kind of one of those.
It's easily explainable, but it's one of those things that it might just cause enough tension for maybe Littlefinger to slip in there and do something. Who knows? Because all you need is these are just distractions from the main story.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole point, is that if anything, Littlefinger will be found out for just being a big distractor of the issues. What do they say? Oh, sorry. Hungry.
They're saying their Turing test over there is making alchemic predictions about how to make Valyrian steel.
Interesting. So we see the scroll. Yeah, we see them. We see them all meet at Eastwatch because we all teleport now.
Yep.
And so we see the Hound, Thoros of Myr, Beric Dondarrion, Jorah Mormont. The wildling is called Tormund, Giant's Bane, and Jon Snow and Davos.
No, Davos is staying. It's Gendry's going.
Gendry is there. And so we see them all kind of talking to each other, and they had the line of the season. Kyle will say it was the line of the season. It's it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you believe in.
Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't matter why we believe or what we believe in.
Yeah.
Or what doesn't matter what we believe or why we believe in it.
Yeah.
Because we're all here. Let's go be the A team, and it's. That could probably be blended into the Game of Thrones theme song.
Almost certainly. If someone hasn't already done that on YouTube, I'd be stunned.
Do it. Do it and credit us for giving you the great idea. Jon Snow and Samuel Tarly.
Yeah.
But honestly, let's talk about your overall thoughts of the episode and also your thoughts of how the season's going so far.
Okay. Well, as far as the episode, the Arya Sansa stuff I've already established is superfluous and pointless. Apart from that, it was fine. As far as the season goes, this is my issue with the season. This is going to be my issue with the next season if I appear in one of these by the end of the show.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are already planning another show. It is called Confederacy. And it is about what if the Confederacy had won the Civil War and had seceded and slavery was still going on in 2017. Even though none of that makes sense and it's mostly just we're going to make a show that sounds very, very, very controversial so we can, make a bunch of money while people have HBO subscriptions.
Yeah. So
they are ready to move on to that show. That's why there's less episodes than they announced when they were saying they were going to have the last two seasons be short. That's why the episodes are no longer an hour and a half anymore. Because originally they were going to be an hour and a half long. hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes long.
I will say, let me interrupt you though.
Mhm.
This episode tonight, I think, is supposed to be 71 minutes, and the next one's 81.
Yeah, but
So
they
go
were
ahead.
all supposed to be that way.
That's true.
They were all supposed to be that long. They were all supposed to have a bigger budget, but they said, nope, we're going to just crunch things together. That's why this season everyone is teleporting hardcore. That's why all these weird scenes are in here, and they don't really make any sense and don't flow right.
Yeah.
It's all because these two guys are done with Game of Thrones, and they're ready to move on. And so they are just going to make this in the most, because the thing is, as Game of Thrones has progressed, so those two, when they started Game of Thrones, both of them had written a book. They were both very creative guys. But the thing is that they got into the producer system of HBO. And that's where they really want to be. They want to be showrunners for HBO, which is an extremely cushy gig. It is very lucrative. You get work forever. HBO executives never get fucking canned.
Yeah.
So that's what they want.
It's their tenure.
Exactly. So Game of Thrones, to their credit, they made Game of Thrones wildly successful, but now they don't care about the story because now their whole thing is Game of Thrones is ending. And so this is another statistic thing. HBO subscription rises and falls with shows.
Yeah.
Always has. Game of Thrones is on a rise. It's the high rise, and it's at peak right now. HBO's pretty much got everyone they're going to get. So now, once Game of Thrones ends, it's going to start diving.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is what they want to do is, and this is my theory with a lot of things, Netflix did this too, where people are picking shows that sound controversial. Like The Handmaid's Tale for AMC, I think.
Yeah.
And this
maybe.
shit where it's like, we're going to pick a show that's whole premise is going to get in the news because someone's going to have a problem with it. And we're going to make it, and we don't actually care about any of the pseudo-political stuff, and the shows aren't very good. But
it'll be easy to get spikes in ratings.
Exactly. So I think what they want to do is they know no matter what they were going to do, they weren't going to get the same ratings as Game of Thrones. So like, hey, if we can make a show that's controversial, it'll keep people in the HBO subscription for another couple seasons, and then we'll look great to HBO because we'll be the guys who lessened the dip.
Yeah.
And HBO will always keep us around. They'll never get rid of us because we'll be set forever.
Yeah.
So their whole thing is like, and they don't like George R.R. Martin anymore, and they've gotten in arguments with him, and he hates them too. And the reason why The Winds of Winter isn't out, I truly believe, is because
he doesn't want them fucking with it.
Well, no, you know what I think it is? This is my theory. I think what it is that he and his agent and shit are purposely not releasing this book because what he's going to do is when the show ends, he's going to come out with the book and he's going to go on a big media thing of going, hey, everyone who thought the last 3 seasons kind of sucked, come read my book because it's 20 times better because I wrote it. And then that book said, then everyone's going to want to read it. He's
going to catch those people who are doing dives like that. He's going to be there.
He's going to be there catching them.
The net above the net.
Exactly.
And that's interesting. I would say my overall opinion of the season is similar to yours. I think some of the way that they resolve some of these things through dialogue is great. I liked, I think it was an episode or 2 ago where Dany and Varys were talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, and Jon and Tyrion were on a cliff and they were talking to each other. As normal and less action driven as those episodes were, that was really important. A lot of the plot holes can be filled great with dialogue. And what better way to do it if you're not going to show it? If you're not going to show it, then you have to say it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We never saw Robert's Rebellion, but we hear about it all the fucking time. And now we feel like we've seen it because it's talked about so much.
Yeah.
That's what they're probably going to end up doing in a lot of these episodes is things that we didn't do, let's just talk about and have the characters talk about.
Yeah.
They'll stop showing things, kind of like with Whispering Wood when Jaime's just captured. We didn't see the battle because they didn't have the money at the time. Or they'd spent it all. It's the same thing. Jaime goes, yes, exactly what Robb did to me at Whispering Wood. It's that only took 4 fucking seasons for them to say that.
Yeah.
It's
well,
But they didn't have to show anything because of that.
Another big problem that you and I both have agreed on is that there's a lot of characters that needed to die seasons ago and need to die now because they're pointless.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's my opinion. For people on here, here's the people that should have died.
Yeah, go.
Theon. Fucking honestly, I would have killed Arya. And I probably would have killed Sansa. But we can, we'll just group those into one.
Okay.
Gendry should have never come back. He didn't have to die, but he should have never come back.
Well, that could have just been resolved.
Jorah should have been dead.
Jorah should.
Grey Worm should be dead.
Grey Worm, yeah.
Fucking ton, like in King's Landing, most of the randos should be dead.
Yara, maybe.
Yara should be dead. I mean, honestly, fucking.
That's why the last episode of season 6 was so great, was because it resolved a lot of things. It just kind of goes, yeah, shit happens, and it just kind of like blew up the set.
Exactly.
And it goes, because the amazing thing was thinking about, okay, now who all was there? Okay, so all the Sparrows and all the Septons, the last of the Tyrells, Uncle Lannister,
Kevin Lannister,
so there was a ton of people there. And so she's like brought down all these characters.
Like broke black men. Grey Worm should have died in the alley and not Sir Barristan. Absolutely. Sir Barristan is hands down in the book. He's still alive, so he's hands down a better character than Grey Worm. Grey Worm is boring. Grey Worm is boring.
That actor was nothing to so good.
Yeah, like this thing is like there's nothing to do for him because his character. The whole point of his character is. Like his arc, if we think of character arcs, his character's arc is all about learning to feel. Well, now he got to fuck Missandei, not really. So he's done. His character arc is done. There is nothing for him to do anymore. Kill him off. Kill him off. Have him die.
They're going to kill him off. And I have a feeling they're probably going to do it. If you've seen it, don't tell me. But I'm hoping they do it this episode or next episode. And I want Missandei to die too, because I'm tired of the interpreters. The cringe-worthy writing that comes with Grey Worm and Missandei stuff.
That one line where it's like, actually, it could be the prince or princess that was promised. It's like,
fuck off. It's like, quit reading chat rooms to write your show.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because the reason I hate that line also, once again, not because I hate Daenerys. I keep my hate of Daenerys, to my own.
Sometimes.
The reason why, I say it to you because it's fun.
Yeah.
But the reason is, the reason why that line is stupid is because it doesn't why would no one ever say it differently until Missandei pops up? Yeah. Why would no one ever say it? If it could be male or female, why would Melisandre have put all her eggs in the Stannis basket? Because she knows Daenerys has dragons. Everyone fucking knows Daenerys has dragons. Everyone.
That's another character.
In season 2, everyone knows she has dragons. So if it wasn't the prince that was promised, why would she not just go, oh, I'm going to make up an excuse to go back to Essos to find Daenerys because it could be either or and there's a Targaryen with dragons.
Here's the thing. It's also like, people have said this and they say it in the show because they know that they're copping out when they go, Daenerys could have flown to the Red Keep, but she didn't. It's like, but fucking why?
Exactly, and that's my point. That's my issue with this season, where
Kill
it's like
10 people.
Exactly, it's
not
like with
all the innocent
with this season. It's one of the biggest problems. It's like the show brings up problems and then just ignores them. Just goes, why didn't she go to the Red Keep?
Yeah,
that's cool.
This is a great point right here. This shows the lack of thinking things through the show. She knows all of those translation, but has no clue what a bastard is.
See, right there. It's like...
I didn't even think about that until you just said it.
Yeah, it's like, there's no marriage in Narth, that's bullshit.
Yeah, she just never saw it. That's like saying there's no freedom in, Pentos because you're a slave in Pentos or something like that. It's like, that to you, there's none.
Well, it's also, let's be real here. There's no society that has ever existed that didn't have some form of fucking thing that we would call marriage. It's everywhere. It's the whole fuck. It's a
even the Dornish did it.
It's a human thing. Now you can say oh, on North, everyone, the community marries. We are all married. You could just fucking say that. But it's like, but she doesn't know what marriage is, so she doesn't know what bastards are.
Yeah, I don't know. It whatever, plot hole. You could drive some trucks through some of these plot holes, but it's I don't know. I will say overall, I do enjoy this season more than I dislike some of the choices that they've made. I will say that.
It's better than season 5, and that's it's better than the Sand Snakes.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Like they had to kill them off.
At least we won't hit Sand Snake levels ever again.
Here's the thing. You know what would be great is I would love at least a slight callback where Cersei maybe walks past like a room and like the doors open and you see like the Martell lady.
Yeah.
And she's chained, but it's just a skeleton still chained there. And the daughter's still a skeleton, and it's also still chained there.
Like that bitch better be dead. I swear to God.
Like they died like that.
Yeah.
Like they starved to death watching each other because it calls back her ferociousness, her brutality. It at least does something, and it's a visually jarring kind of thing to see. If you go like, oh fuck, it's kind of like in the movie The Ring when they spin the chair around and the face is all like melted off. It's really disturbing. That's what you want. At least I would. What about the Septon? That the mountain, touched her belly and she screamed bloody murder.
Well, I assume he raped her to death. And that's not even like being weird. That's like literally what I assumed was
what
he raped her to death. I didn't know his. I mean, I guess his dick works.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Is that's one thing I didn't know is if it was going to be like the L.A. Martell because even Oberyn goes like this. He split her in half with his great sword. And I don't know if he meant he cut her or if he just raped her with his dick and his dick was so big it killed her.
Yeah, see, there again.
That's another, once again, not trying to be gross. It's a legitimate question as far as, like, understanding what the fuck that guy does.
Yeah, I mean, well, see, that's kind of my thing. It's like, I mean, honestly, with the whole thing of, like, him raping her and shit, that's kind of how I envision it, is that when the mountain rapes you, it's fucking brutal. Like, he just fucking mutilates women. That's kind of like what I've always thought. It's like he just mutilates women, and that's why, like,
especially as like a dead corpse zombie,
just even alive. I think it's just one of those things. Like he just would mutilate women when he would like rape them, and that's why.
Well,
that's why Oberyn makes sure to mention it.
Well, and she even goes like, "Oh, you're not gonna die today. Well, for quite a while, actually." And I'm like, then. What? Like, it's sort of just like, why not? Why not today? Like, yeah, you want to make her suffer for a long time because she made you suffer for a long time. But if you kill her, then you just win.
You win.
You win right away. Like, there's no having to wait. Waterboard her to death with wine. See, that's the thing. I'd like to see some of the follow-through of some of these people dying so we know for sure. Because we've kind of been trained with this. If you don't see it on screen, it didn't happen. And I don't like to have to think that they might bring one of the fucking Martells back in this season or the next season.
I'd lose my goddamn mind if like the Sand Snakes or the Martells or any of those fuckers show up. It's like, no, Dorne is out of the story.
It doesn't
make sense why they're out of the story, but they're out of the story. So that's the end of it.
Yeah, well. Well, anyway, I overall, what would you give it at 1 out of 10 so far for the season?
Thus far, I'd give it a 6.
A 6? Okay, I might be, since we've yet to see it, I'll say right now, I'll give it like a 7.
Yeah.
But I think the max it could be, even if it was fucking epic the rest of the time, is probably like an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, same.
Like, that's the best it could be.
And a 10 is like season 1 and 2. Those are 10s. For people who
if there's an episode of straight action and resolution to all these fucking problems, like people kind of just die left and right, like kind of in an Arya killing House Frey fashion, I'd be fine with that.
Oh, God, I want Arya to get killed off. So pointless. She's so useless.
Yeah, I just want it's cool to see the thing like, oh, Arya fought Brienne. But it's also like, why are they dragging out the Tormund stuff? Like Tormund and Brienne, his interest in Brienne. Why didn't that, like the second time he looked at it when he goes, "You're a lucky man." He doesn't just go, "And you're a beautiful woman." Like just something to where you don't go like he's just longingly looking at her and bringing it up to Jon right before they go out to fight the White Walkers. He goes, "The big woman." I'm like, oh,
He knows what's up. He knows what's up.
Yeah, come on,
Don't act like
Jon. Put in a good word. Be a bro.
Yeah, don't act like you wouldn't. Don't act like you wouldn't fall madly in love with them.
I would fall in love with Brienne, and then I'd climb her like a tree.
I would.
Yeah. So that's our review, I would say, for Eastwatch. I know it was all over the place, but you learned something, and if you didn't, then fuck off. You know, you should stop being so smart so that we can educate you.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do. I now knight you.
So fat of the fat.
If it sticks, that's your name, okay? But thank you all for joining this live stream of Eastwatch Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 5, The Walking David. Give this review a like, please, and share it with your friends if you think that they would enjoy it. Let's give Alec a little round of applause. Good on you, buddy, for coming here. Thank you.
Coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here in my fictional place. We're in Alec's place, but it's mine.
In your fictional place.
Thanks for coming here to my YouTube channel. How about that?
There you go. That'll work.
But yeah. So Galishi. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I'm not like Philly Issues guy. I don't have like music that I made. So hey, sing Game of Thrones. Just go bum bum ba da bum bum and we'll
bum bum ba da dum dum da da dum dum da da dum dum da da dum da 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 da